Hey YouTube, a bit full of goats here, back with a new deck profile. This week I went to locals and I played Eldlich with the Invoked package this time. The idea being that both of these decks are very small engines, so if I play them both I'd have access to powerful cards and a bunch of hand traps. It went pretty well actually, I went 3-1. And if I hadn't made a stupid mistake in the finals I would have come 4-0. Well, my perfect streak with Invoked had to end at some point, so let's take a look, shall we? For the Eldlich engine, we have 2 Golden Lords. You don't need 3 of these because you don't really want these to see these in hand. You want to get them with things like Scarlet Sanguine and Elfland. So Golden Lord, he's a big beater. You can discard him in a spell trap from hand to pop something, and you can pop a spell trap on your field to add him back to hand and then summon him with an extra 1k and indestructibility. He's just a really good beat stick. To supplement that, we have for our Golden Land cards, triple Conquistador, one Guardian, and 1 Heraquero, as well as 3 Scarlet Sanguine. So Scarlet Sanguine is a monster reborn and a searcher from deck for the Golden Lord, and it can be banished to add any of these to hand. It helps you grind, it helps you get your boss monster in the field. It's the best card in the deck. It's one of the best cards in the deck. So for our trap monster Golden Land cards, I chose 1 Heraquero and 1 Guardian rather than 2 Heraquero, because graveyard decks aren't as big a problem with 2 element out of the meta. But you could play 2 of this instead if you wanted, because it does have the same level as the Conquistador. Beast, this is a big defender, so it's hard to get over, and it reduces monster's points to 0 on flip. So what you can do is you can use this to beat over things like dinosaur big monsters. My meta's got a few blue eyes decks in it, so I can get over that. That's kind of why I chose to play this. And of course the best Golden Land card is Conquistador, because he is a target of destruction on flip, so that's why I chose to play him at 3. In addition to this, most of these cards are lights, so they can help you make your invoked fusions. Finally, for the Eldlich cards, we have 3 Cursed Eldland. This is the best starter in the deck. You pay 100 points, you get whatever piece of your combo you're missing, and then if you pop it with your Eldlich, which is very easy to do, you also get a Foolish Burial Goods effect. Now please note you can't attack with anything but zombies while it's on the field, so you want to pop this before going into your invoked plays if possible. Speaking of which, 3 Alistair the Invoker, 3 Magical Meltdown, 1 Terraforming Distorted Meltdown, and double Invocation for the Invoked package. So Invocation is the polymerization of the deck. You don't want 3 because by itself it does nothing. But on activation, you can use it to make your invoked fusions, and then you can then shuffle this back into your deck to add an Alistair back to your hand, meaning that this card helps you maintain advantage very easily. Which combined with the grindiness of the Eldlich cards means you're going to go a lot longer than a lot of decks would. So Magical Meltdown and Terraforming. Meltdown is a great starter because it adds Alistair to your hand, who then adds your Invocation. It also gives your fusions protection, meaning it's very hard to disrupt this deck when it gets going. And of course, Alistair, he is the best monster in this deck, I think. On normal summon, he gets you an Invocation, meaning he gives you access to a majority of your fusion monsters, and then he's also an Honest effect, which lets you pump up your fusions by 1k, which is none of once per turn, by the way. So this card helps you push through damage and lock down the board going first. For our non-engine cards, 1 Called by the Grave and 3 copies of Corpus the Swamp Deity. So Called by is very self-explanatory. Hand traps can be a difficult thing to deal with, especially with the invoked side. And with Kashtira being the top deck right now, things like Nibiru and Ash Blossom are going to see a lot more play than they did last format. With this might as well be an Eldlich card. It's a trap monster with 2k attack and defense, and upon being flipped, it allows us to negate 1 card on the field for every continuous trap we have on the field. So by flipping this up, although it's not once per turn, so you can actually flip multiple of these up to get 1 negate. But any Eldlich trap monster you have on the field will give you an additional 1. It's also a big beater and a level 6, which means it combines with another card I'm going to show you in a second to make things like Beatrice. Speaking of which, our hand trap lineup is triple Magnamort, double Druid Worm to start things off. So dark decks aren't as big as they were last format with things like Kashtira, running about, Naturia still being good, etc. Flunderies as well. But this deck is mostly darks and lights, so you can get these out by bashing your own monsters if necessary. And what I like about these is to being big beaters, they can push through damage. They also give you easy access to Beatrice, which lets you dump things like Eldlich, the Golden Lord, a Golden Land Trap, a dead Scarlet Sanguine, tongue-tied there, or even, if necessary, a piece to make an Invoked Fusion. In addition to this, Druid's Worm also can clear problematic monsters, and Magnum can thin your deck. For other hand traps, triple Veiler, triple Ash, and triple Imperm. Yes, I know I should be running the Nibiru as well, because that's great against Kashtira, but I couldn't find my third copy, otherwise I'd be running it. So let's go with these hand traps for now. Veiler, in addition to being able to shut down good starter cards, especially with the Trap Trick deck becoming popular again, is also a light monster, which means it's at the best. It can help us make the best Invoked Fusion in a pinch. Ash, I don't think I need to explain this. It stops searching, which means it can keep Kashtira from going full combo. And it's also a fire, which means you can always get the other best Invoked Fusion. And Imperm, which is some situations a better Veiler, especially going second. And in addition to this, you can just set it for another negate. And in the worst case scenario, you don't need it. It's a back row. You can just set it, pop it with your Golden Lord, and then get a 3/5 beater on the board. And that was the main deck. Let's look at the extra, shall we? 1 Artemis, 1 Salmon-Grey Almirage for the Link ones. These are simply here to make the Invoked Fusions, the light and the fire. This is probably more useful by itself than this is, because this can protect your monsters in a pinch. But you're never really keeping these on the board. You're just going to go Alistair, Link 1, Invocation, fuse with this with Alistair, make your fusion. Speaking of Link 2s, IP Masquerena, Phoenix, and Nightmare Cerberus. So IP, she's there for disruption during the opponent's turn with things like Unicorn and Underworld Goddess. Cerberus and Phoenix are there if you're going second. You can Link climb through these and pop monsters and back row into making Ball Sword. But also I didn't go into these much, to be fair. Also, just note Phoenix is a fire, so it can have you go into Purgatrio. Then we have one Unicorn. And rounding up the links, we have Sword and Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess is the bigger IP target, and she also helps against opposing graveyard decks. Brawl Sword is our budget finisher, because again, no access code. And Unicorn is our main target for IP. It can help spin back things like Shangri-La, or things you don't want in the graveyard. Then we have the Invoked Fusions, which is 1 Aguidios, I don't know, I probably butchered that, I apologise. 1 Caliuga, 1 Purgatrio, and 2 Macabre. So these two didn't come up today. Caliuga is a Floodgate, and this is a Plop, and it can help push through on damage. But neither of these came up today. Yes, I had to read this. I played that little. Also, that's probably due for a cut soon. So, 2 Macabre. In this deck, this card is both an Omni Negate and a massive extender. Why is that? Because with the Eldlich card, you're always going to have at least one of every type. And if you can pitch like a Golden Lord for future Eldlich plays, or you can pitch an Eldlich Trap to get more setup in the future. In addition, this is also 2/5 beta that bashes the card in the gates, meaning it's good disrupting for decks with a lot of graveyard effects. Macabre, after all these years, still the best card in Invoked in my opinion. Still a really powerful fusion. And for going second, Purgatrio. Against 200 points, every card your opponent has on the field, it can attack every monster once each, and if you hit this with an Alistair's effect, your opponent can either OTK or do enough damage that you can kill them with this card, Gustav Max. Yes, we're playing a trade in this deck. See, with the Golden Lords being level 10 and getting 2 on the board not being too difficult, this is going to be a great way to win in time, because unlike all the other burn cards, this card can help you get winning time even if you're quite far behind, as it burns for 2k on attack, on effect rather. And our final card in this deck is Beatrice. Again, some of the with the Porpoise and the Bastilles, getting 2 level 6s isn't too difficult. And this can send Golden Lord for Eldritch plays. It can send a Golden Land if you already have an Eldritch on the field, or Subcart Sanguine if you need to search a specific Golden Land. She can also send cards for your Invoked Fusions in a pinch. The fact that this card was not banned on the last list is amazing to me, which I'm happy for, being a BA player and all. But yeah, if you can make a lot of level 6 in your deck, you need to play this. It's amazing. And that was the main and extra. I'll click up the side because you guys have seen most of this before. Debarrier. This card shuts down most of the meta right now. It stops the opponents from playing the Castira XCs, the Branded Fusions, the Sword Soul Synchros, all the good stuff. The other thing is, if you're against a fusion deck, you gotta be careful when you flip this because you're often playing a lot of fusions yourself. So you want to do this after you've negated with a Macabre if possible. Double Lava Golem. I did have room for 3. This is a really good way to out Castira boards. It's also in fire, so again another way to get into Purgatrio if necessary. Here's an interesting one. 3 Artifact Lancia. Yes, this does conflict with a lot of my own deck, but this is their shutdown deck that I have trouble facing against, like the Thunder Dragon the Thunder Dragon Chaos deck that comes to my local sometimes, as well as someone playing Runic Sprite last night, which I beat with this card. And again, future turn, it's a light, another Macabre, another way to get into Macabre. Again, this card is literally one of those, I'm going to lose regardless, so push this in case of that kind of emergency button. Next for our hand traps, Ciphering Package, and Draw and Lock Bird. I've mentioned these before. These are for going second and disrupting combo decks. In the future, though, I think I would cut this. Well, it's not been as effective as it used to be. I think instead what I would do is play a 3rd Lava Golem, and possibly some Lightning Storms and Heavy and Happy's Feather Duster, or something as well as other effects. But this deck worked decently today, though, so on Tuesday, though, so who knows. So yeah, this deck went 3-1. My only loss was to Mathmech in the finals. And I'll definitely be playing a lot more Invoked in the future because I've always seemed to do well with this deck. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for the lack of updates recently. Expect some more content more frequently coming soon, though. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.